Lalita gati vilasa valguhasa pranaya nirikshana kalpitorumana kritam anukritavatya unmadandha prakriti magan kilayasya gopavadvaha. Lalita, attractive, gati, movements, vilasa, fascinating acts, valguhasa, sweet smiling, pranaya, loving, nirikshana, looking upon, kalpita, mentality, urumana, highly glorified, kritam anukritavatyaha, in the act of copying the movements, unmada anda, gone mad in ecstasy, prakritim, characteristics, agan, underwent, kila, certainly, yasya, whose, gopavadvaha, the cowherd damsels. Translation. Let my mind be fixed upon Lord Sri Krishna, whose motions and smiles of love attracted the damsels of Brajadhama, the gopis. The damsels imitated the characteristic movements of the Lord after his disappearance from the Rasa dance. Purport. By intense ecstasy in loving service, the damsels of Rajabhumi attained qualitative oneness with the Lord by dancing with him on an equal level, embracing him in nuptial love, smiling at him in joke, and looking at him with a loving attitude. The relation of the Lord with Arjuna is undoubtedly praiseworthy for devotees like Bhismadeva. But the relation of the gopis with the Lord is still more praiseworthy because of their still more purified loving service. By the grace of the Lord, Arjuna was fortunate enough to have the fraternal service of the Lord as chariot driver. But the Lord did not award Arjuna with equal strength. The gopis, however, practically became one with the Lord by attainment of equal footing with the Lord. Bhishma's aspiration to remember the gopis is a prayer to have their mercy also at the last stage of his life. The Lord is satisfied more when his pure devotees are glorified. And therefore, Bhismadeva has not only glorified the acts of Arjuna, his immediate object of attraction, but has also remembered the gopis who were endowed with unrivaled opportunities for rendering loving service to the Lord. The gopis' equality with the Lord should never be misunderstood to be like the Sahajya liberation of the impersonalist. The equality is one of perfect ecstasy, where the differential conception is completely eradicated, for the interests of the lover and the beloved become identical. Why I chose to speak on this verse is that today is Bhīṣmashtami, the day Bhismadev left his body. Actually, we hear many festivals, many auspicious days starting with the name Bhishma. We hear Bhīṣmashtami, we hear Bhishma Ekadasi coming after a couple of days. We also hear about Bhishma Dwadasi. We also hear about Bhishma Panchaka. So, what are all these festivals? And sometimes it is confusing. With so many names, somebody says that this day Bhishma passed away. And for example, some say that what is the speciality of Bhishma Ekadasi? They say that Bhishma spoke on that day Vishnu Sahasranama to Yudhiṣṭhira. But Bhishma Ashtami is the day Vishnu Sahasranama is spoken on Bhishma Ekadasi. That's what some people say. But Bhishma left on Bhishma Ashtami, then how he will be able to speak Vishnu Sahasranama? It's not 1 year before. Yeah, because all the instructions given to Yudhiṣṭhira were those 50 odd days when he was lying on the bed of arrows. And also there is a Bhishma Dwadasi. What is it? Some say that that is the day Bhishma left his body. And then we also hear about Bhishma Panchaka. So there are many festivals. I want to explain briefly first what is the speciality of this particular festival. Actually, Bhishma left his body on this day only. Bhishma Ashtami, that is called Bhishmashtami. But his last rites were performed, the Tilodakas, what we say that oblations of water on the bank of Ganga. That is done on the Dwadasi day, because normally they do it on third day, but Ekadasi is coming. So Ekadasi day, generally it is mentioned in the Shastras that one should not do the Shraddha on Ekadashi. That is why it is done by the Pāṇḍavas on Dwadasi. That is the Bhismadevadasi. Bhismadevadasi day is the day when Pāṇḍavas offered oblations to Bhishma on the bank of Ganga. In fact, in the first canto, there is a brief description. Maybe in the beginning of this chapter or previous chapter, there is a description that they are all assembled there on the bank of Ganga. They have asked the ladies to walk in front. They were walking behind, and then they offered oblations of water. That is the Bhishma Dwadasi. Then what is the Bhishma Ekadasi? Bhishma Ekadasi is the day Vishnu Sahasranama is first chanted. That means Parayana is done in a group. Earlier it was given to Yudhiṣṭhira. Bhishma was saying, other people were hearing. Now they all thought that for the pleasure of Bhismadeva, for the pleasure of Lord Krishna, they all chant on Ekadasi day the Vishnu Sahasranama. So it is one sense, the first time Vishnu Sahasranama is recited in a group. That's why normally it is told that this is the birth of Vishnu Sahasranama day. But Bhishma already told few days before, and it is done. And one more confusion is there, that Bhishma was waiting to actually for Uttarayana. And which day is that? Because normally it is believed that Uttarayana, it comes on the Makara Sankranti. Yeah, but that is also a relative. It is not always fixed. According to astrological calculations, actually the Uttarayana is starting on December only nowadays, December 21st or December 22nd, something like that. So at the time, 5000 years before, this Ratha Saptami is the day when Uttarayana started, and the next day Bhishma left his body because he had the Swachanda Marana. That means he can leave his body anytime as he wishes. That was a boon given by his father Shantanu to Bhismadeva. So he did it. That's why every time after Ratha Saptami, Bhishmashtami comes. But 5000 years before, that is beginning of Uttarayana. Now, of course, we are considering Makara Sankranti is the beginning of Uttarayana, but still according to astrological calculations, it is in December only. So now we also have something called Bhishma Panchaka. We observe at the end of Kartik month, this Bhishma Panchaka, last 5 days, because Bhismadev did 5-day fasting in the holy month of Kartik. Bhismadev know that after this Kartik month, once the Kartik month ends, Margasirsha month starts, that's when war is going to happen. So he wanted to observe the Kartik month, praying for the mercy of Radha and Krishna and the Gopis. And last 5 days he fasted, because he was, that is probably his last Kartik, for the pleasure of the Lord, to attain love of God. He fasted 5 days. And in the Margasirsha month, we know Gita Jayanti comes. That's when Bhagavad Gita is spoken. And the war also started. And the war lasted for 18 days. Bhishma was on the bed of arrows, waiting for Uttarayana. And finally, this day appeared Bhishmashtami. Bhishmadev left his body. Now, in this verse, why is Bhishmadev remembering Gopis at the time of death? In fact, not only at the time of death, even before the war, he was observing Bhishma Panchaka in the month of Kartik, remembering the Gopis and remembering the great devotees of the Lord. Bhishmadeva himself is a great general, great devotee of the Lord. He is one of the 12 Mahajanas. But even for great Mahajanas like Narada, Sanaka and Sanandana, and also Bhishmadev, Gopis are worshipable. Because Narada Muni also says that Yatha Vrajagopikanam. Bhakti means one should do like the Gopis. And we also hear in Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite song, it is said Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite. She is glorified by the 4 sages, 4 Kumaras. And also now Bhishmadev is glorifying. Remember, Gopis are in love with Krishna. They are behaving like mad lovers. And these people are all brahmacharis. Bhishma is a ajanma brahmachari. Narada Muni is ajanma brahmachari, never married, never had any association with women. And also the 4 Kumaras. Even those people are glorifying and worshipping the gopis. Because two reasons it is told. Number one, they are the greatest devotees of Lord Krishna. The greatest devotees of Lord Krishna. Because nobody is equal. In fact, how one should worship Lord Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us. Ramya kachidupasana vrajavadu vargena ya kalpita. One should worship like the gopis. That is the finest worship of Krishna. So though it is told that how great gopis are there, in this verse Srila Prabhupada is saying that they are even great devotees compared to Arjuna. Actually, Bhishma, all that Bhishma is known, the Bhishma was looking at Krishna and Arjuna, and he is seeing that Parthasarathi form. That Parthasarathi form is a worshipable deity of the Lord. So Arjuna is a great devotee, and Bhismadev is wondered how Lord is actually supporting Pāṇḍavas, specifically Arjuna, by becoming his charioteer. But Bhismadev knows that even gopis are in higher position compared with Arjuna. Because one reason is given why he is great devotees. He said that Lord is dancing with them on the equal footing. He is behaving as if they are one and the same. But Arjuna is not like that. Yeah. Similarly, another reason is given, one more reason is given why gopis, why Bhishmadev is glorifying gopis at this point of time. The second reason is given in this purport by Srila Prabhupada is that Lord will be pleased when he glorifies, when one glorifies his devotees. So he was glorifying gopis. At his last breath, he was thinking of Vrindavana. He was remembering the sweet pastimes of Vrindavana. In the verse, what pastimes they was remembering? He was remembering that how gopis are imitating Krishna's pastimes in mad love. Because after Rasa dance, Krishna disappeared. When Krishna disappeared, these gopis are going around searching for Lord Krishna. When they were searching for Lord Krishna, they were crying. And then in ecstasy, they were performing. Somebody becomes like a Putana, one becomes Krishna. How Krishna is killing Putana, how Krishna killed Trinavarta, how Krishna lifted Govardhan, how Krishna swallowed all the fire, and also how he killed many demons, how he performed Damodar Leela. All these things they were imitating. And Bhishmadev is remembering those pastimes of the gopis imitating Lord Krishna's pastimes in mad love for Krishna, searching for Krishna. So the two reasons. One is glorifying gopis because Krishna loves them. Second is glorifying gopis at the time of death because they are the greatest devotees of the Lord. So today is the day Bhishmadev left his body, Bhishmashtami, and he went back home, back to Godhead. Taking inspiration from Mahajana Bhishma, we should also conduct our life. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us that we should worship Krishna in the footsteps of the gopis. That is the finest of worship. But that we will be doing naturally in an advanced stage. To get to Raganuga Bhakti, before that we have to do Vaidhi Bhakti. So we are worshipping Radha and Krishna in Vaidhi Bhakti as Lakshmi Narayan and Sitaram and Lakshmi Narasimha, like that, by following the rules of the Vaidhi Bhakti. In that there are 64 rules. Anybody who follows these 64 items of devotional service, they will be assured to come to the platform of Raga Bhakti, and they will have the same love as that of gopis for Lord Krishna. In these 64 items of devotional service are also these 5 most potent items of devotional service: chanting the holy name of the Lord, associating with the devotees of the Lord, and reading Śrīmad Bhāgavatam in the association of devotees, and living in Vrindavana and worshipping Radha and Krishna, the deities. So by following these 5 items sincerely, we also can come to the platform of Raganuga Bhakti and eventually one will get love of Godhead like that of the gopis. I'll stop here. Anybody has any questions and comments, please?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
This Bhishma Panchaka, he only started before those 5 days. There were not any these kind of.
No.
Because he performed after the free.
Yes.
Those 5 days were before also some special days.
See, Kartik month, the question asked by Suraj Prabhu is that, did Bhishma start the Bhishma Panchaka or was it there before also? All the days in Kartik month are very special because we know that there's a month of Srimati Radharani and the gopis, and that's why it is celebrated as with greater vigor than the month of Krishna, which is Margashirsha. Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Masana Margashirshoham, among the months I am Margashirsha. But the Kartik month is the month of Radharani and gopis, so it is especially Gaudiya Vaishnavas celebrate Kartik month like that. So all the days in Kartik are special, but at the same time, the last 5 days are famous because of Bhismadev's Vrata, the Bhishma Panchaka. It is also called as Vishnu Panchaka. So Bhismadev first observed, after that devotees started observing because he attained Lord Krishna. He wanted to attain Lord Krishna. So he did observance of Kartik and especially fasting on the last 5 days just before the Kurukṣetra war, and after that he attained the Lord, we know, on this Bhismashtami day. So since then 5000 years devotees are observing this thing. So in that fasting we all know he only took the cow products, every day one day cow urine, one day cow dung, like that, one day little bit of ghee. That's how he observed the fast with cow products. He attained the Lord. Similarly, devotees following the footsteps of Bhismadeva, they do. And also, it is also told that everybody, all devotees follow this tradition. And also on the Bhīṣmadevadasi day also, Bhishma Ekadasi and Bhīṣmadevadasi, these days also, remembering Bhishmadev, devotees perform a few things. For example, reciting Vishnu Sahasranama on the Bhishma Ekadasi, and also offering oblations to Bhishma. One actually goes back to Godhead. So with the mantra, they pray to Bhishmadev on the Bhishmadevadasi day also. That is also a tradition. Hare Krishna.